Salve discipuli, this is Help for Your Latin Studies in Henle First Year Latin, exercise number 160. In this exercise, we are given some sentences in English and asked to translate them into Latin. And these are going to include some of the new vocabulary words that we've learned, particularly some of the third conjugation verbs that we're learning. And so we'll want to be checking against rule number 166 in the grammar book to make sure that our endings, our connecting vowels are accurate. So let's take a look at number 1, which says, the Roman legions defend themselves bravely because they are eager for the glory of war. Okay, I like to start when I'm looking at an English sentence and sort of parse it so that I get a grasp of what's the noun case of the nouns, what are the jobs of each word in the sentence. And so looking at this, I see two separate independent clauses that are connected by this because, this conjunction because. So we'll have two separate subjects and two separate verbs in this one sentence. The first part before the word because simply says the Roman legions defend themselves bravely. So we're just going to work with that to begin with. So looking at that part of the sentence, I see that my subject is legions, and there's an adjective describing them, which is Roman. Which kind of legions? Roman legions. What are they doing? Defending. Who are they defending? Themselves. And how are they defending? Bravely. So we have an adverb here as well, and that was introduced in our most recent vocabulary. Themselves, you'll remember learning recently that themselves is a reflexive pronoun of the third person. And so we're going to be using those third person reflexive pronouns in this translation of this sentence that we learned in this rule book. So let me just turn back real quickly so that we have an opportunity to review what those are. You'll remember now in the third person, we have non-reflexive pronouns, which would be broken up as masculine, feminine, and neuter, and be translated as he or him, she or her or it, or they if it's plural, but masculine, feminine, and neuter if you need to make that distinction. But if you need a reflexive third person pronoun, there's different ones, sui, sibi, say. So you'll want to keep that in mind because we have that word themselves in here. So we'll have to ask, what is the job of that word in the sentence? And so we know which form to use based on the noun case. Okay, so let's take a look then at how we might translate this. My subject is legions, and that comes from a third declension noun, legio, legionis. And so if I think through the endings, this is plural, and we want it in the nominative case. So in the third declension, that's various, is, em, those are my singular. And then ace, ibis, ace, ibis. So I want this to say legiones to start. The other question that we have to answer is whenever there's an adjective describing a noun, Latin placement matters. If it's a, if it's a quantity adjective, it's describing size or number, we would put that before the noun. And if it's a quality adjective, we would put it after the noun. In this case, we would consider Roman to be a quality adjective. So we're going to put that after the noun. So we'll start by writing legiones. And then our adjective needs to be declined accordingly. Remember, an adjective needs to agree with the noun that it modifies in gender, number, and case. So this is, legions is a feminine noun. And we know that by the Sachs rule in when we learned of the third declension nouns, legio, legionis, that nominative singular ending is an O, and any nominative singular ending that's S, O, or X would be considered feminine. So legiones is a feminine noun, and so we want to decline the word Roman in the feminine form. That adjective for Roman could be Romanus, Romana, Romanum, depending on if it's masculine, feminine, or neuter. Since we want feminine, we're going to follow the pattern of first declension endings because those are all, first declension nouns are all feminine. So we would start with Romana, but again, gender, number, and case, we need it to be nominative plural. So if I think through the first declension noun endings, I, those are all my singular endings. I, arum, is, as, is are the plural first declension noun endings. So I want Romani to make it nominative, plural, and feminine. So legiones, Romani, there's my subject and the adjective that describes it. Remember, in Latin, we're going to put the verb at the end of each clause. So we're going to move on then to our direct object, themselves. Remember, a direct object is in the accusative case, and this is a reflexive pronoun. So I would use se with that e with a macron to mean themselves. So se, there's my direct object, themselves. And then we can write bravely and defend and finish with defend. So bravely, again, is a new vocabulary word. If I just go back a page, it was given here at the top of page 141. Fortiter means bravely or strongly. So I'll just put that there, fortiter. And then defend, another new vocabulary word. This is a third conjugation verb. Defendo, defendere, defendi, defensus. So we want to take that verb, defendo, and give it the appropriate ending that agrees with the subject. Again, we have legiones. This is a third person, it's them, the legions, and it's plural. So our ending for defend needs to also be a third person plural. So defendo, we would start with, and then if I turn to rule number 166, it's going to show me the pattern to follow for conjugating those third conjugation verbs. So defendo, defendis, defendit, defendimus, defenditis, defendunt. The third person plural has a U for the connecting vowel. Defendunt. And there's the first clause. So I'll link that with the word quod, meaning because. And then we go, they are eager for the glory of war. All right, so this is a little bit, might be a little bit rusty. We haven't worked with they are in a while, but when you see that at the end, that being verb, they are, then we would use the verb sunt, and we would put it first. Sunt, they are. Oftentimes you will see verbs at the end, and it may actually work to put that verb at the end, but in looking at the answer key, I see that they put that first, and that makes sense because we're starting with a being verb, they are. Eager for the glory of war. So eager for, remember that's an interesting preposition. It was cupidus, cupidi, and the ending that we want to use on that, eager for, let's see here, cupidi, gloriae, because it's connecting to, where was I? It's connecting to the word glory, which is a first declension noun. And we need it in the genitive singular form. It's a singular noun, but cupidus, cupidi always takes the genitive. So, cupidi, gloriae, and then we're going to end with of war. So this also is going to be in the genitive. Bellum, belly, o. So we want that genitive singular ending belly. They are eager for the glory of war. That was a doozy, but just keep working. Do as much as you can. Work sentence by sentence. Consider each word, what its job is in the sentence. If it's a noun, what case should it take? Make sure that your verbs agree with your subjects in number and in person, and make sure that if there's an adjective, that it agrees with the noun that it modifies, in gender, number, and case. And just go slowly and consider each part. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Have a great week.